T-Pound.
In a world,
Get the hell up.
where Carolina Panthers fans
Anthony from Charlotte, keep motherfucking pounding.
have an insatiable thirst
I need to see a lot more of that shit going forward.
for Panthers news and opinions.
All my C3 brethren from the C3 Legion.
Only one podcast roars ferociously.
The longest running Panthers podcast on the internet.
It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
Oh, Greg, I owe y'all $100, man.
What is good, Panther fans? Robert Hunt named Pro Bowl alternate as fans wish for alternate Super Bowl. We've got a great show for you tonight on the C3 Panthers podcast, brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. We'll be getting into Dave Canales' 5 best decisions of the season. Robert Hunt to the Pro Bowl. We'll be talking about the Kansas City Chiefs, conspiracies, and potentially boycotts, as some people do not want to watch the Super Bowl. The last Super Bowl I refused to watch, which I have boycotted a Super Bowl, was the Patriots and Falcons Super Bowl. And it was around the time that Donald Trump was elected as president in 2016. And remember, people had the saying, "Not my president." I wore a sign out to the bar that said, "Not my Super Bowl." And every time the game was on, I would turn my back to the television and I only watched the commercials. I did break from my commitment as I watched the Falcons fall apart in a 25-3 or whatever it was. I did turn my back and turn around and look at it in the fourth quarter. But guess what? We're looking at you. I'm looking at these beautiful mugs on my screen right here. My wheel man, Cody Lack, it's good to be back with you on a Tuesday night.
Tony Dunn, there's nowhere I'd rather be on a Tuesday night than hanging with my boys, talking Panther football. Sadly, there is no Panther football to be had, so the next best thing is the C3 Panthers podcast, baby. You know we're going to find some shit to talk about. We always do. Imagine telling the professor and Cody Lack and Codizzle Allen not to ham it up and not to never stop talking about Panther football. We couldn't do it. We couldn't do it for all the money in the world, dude. We're going to talk about American Mexican football. Huh? Ryan Khalil? What? Okay. We're going to talk about, Pro Bowl alternate, like Tony already alluded to. We're going to look back at some of the best things that Dave Canales did in his rookie season as an NFL head coach. But we're going to do this with the best damn Panther fans in all of YouTube. You already know them and love them, boys. We got Joey the Blind Panther. What's up, brother? The Hope Dealer in the building. What's up, brother? Harvey London. Easy did that. Panther Gal 73. What's up, Panther Gal? My man Anthony in the building, and the brand ambassador himself. These ill skills. Tony Dunn, ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
C3 Anthony in the forum moderating the chat. Appreciate that, bro. The number is 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. Also love to see all those people with the special tag saying they're C3 super fans for $1.99 a month. You can support the C3 Panthers podcast. And remember, we go through these starving times. We still got to keep the podcast running and going. There are some slight expenses. A little bit from a lot of people helps more than a bit from just a few people. We appreciate your support. Smash the thumbs up, subscribe, be a part of the community. The best thing you can do is give us your time, attention, your energy. Those ears are waiting to hear from the Golden Pipes. My man, CK, how you doing, my friend?
Man, I tell you what, we talk about boycotting the Super Bowl. I'm certainly on board. I really cannot bring myself to watch the Super Bowl. I am going to be so bored out of my mind watching this because I have literally, like, no matter who wins, it is just a knife in the bag to me. Like, I don't want either of these people to be able to take home a Super Bowl again. But it's just absolutely just not for me. I'm not interested in watching either one of these guys be able to come out on top. So I'm just here to enjoy some Panthers content with you boys and maybe even see who we can pick off of the rosters of some of these Super Bowl teams based on their free agency looks this year.
Yeah, you know that these teams, that when they have these great successes, it's very difficult for them to continue to just hold on to all of those players in those units from year to year. I am surprised a little bit that there is so much animosity towards the Super Bowl. I figure that Cody Lack would beat DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins get his ring, even though he had 11 yards receiving in the last game. Potential first-time three-peat in the history of NFL. Saquon Barkley on a tear that is just been incredible to watch. I think I like my favorite story of the Super Bowl is Vic Fangio and that fucking defense that the Eagles put together. That mug first year. Look, we'll see. It's like, hey, is Patrick Mahomes has the opportunity to be the GOAT. And if he gets 3 back to back, bro, there's no question it. There's zero question right there. Nirvash, thank you for the C3 bomb, $5. He said, I'm sick of having the Chiefs shoved down my throats. I still watched the Super Bowl, but I was cheering for the Bills hard. I did pick the Bills too, Nirvash, to win this game. We'll talk about some of those moments in that game that happened. I just say this is that it's not surprising. I know we're going to talk about the refs. We're going to talk about conspiracy. We're going to talk about this. But what is not said enough is that, like, the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes are just deadly if you give them any opportunity. When you play the Chiefs, if you get ahead of them, there better be 6 seconds left on the clock. Like, I mean, anything more than 6 seconds, I feel like Patrick Mahomes like, I can do this. Anyway.
Dude, imagine if you're the Bills. You have to have a toxic level of hatred towards the Kansas City
Could
Chiefs.
you imagine?
Oh, dude.
Especially every time you play, you just feel like
hatred.
You feel like you're losing because of things that you have no control over if you're a Bills fan, right? Like, you're losing, because of, well, let me rephrase. Like, you feel like you should have won, but there's just these crazy things that either happen, such as 13 seconds left to go in the game, and Josh Allen doesn't get another chance at actually tying or winning the ball game, even though they were in the lead and they had to go into overtime. Didn't have a chance to give him the opportunity to win that game a few years back with that crazy cool playoff game. The one this time, I could understand why, if you're a Bills fan, you're pissed off, because there were some missed calls. There were some pretty clear, scenarios that would have been overturned. Even on the broadcast, they were talking about, Gene Steratore or whatever it was, who normally would side with the refs, was saying, yeah, I think this should have been a first down. Like, I'm looking at it from this angle. It should have been a first down. I would have said it was a first down if I were in the booth. And so, like, that is, if I am a Bills fan, I'm looking at those things. And I'm just like, constantly, every time you play the Bills, you're not really given a fair shake. I would absolutely be livid.
Oh, the Chiefs,
if I'm a Bills fan, yeah.
Yeah,
The universe definitely is in favor of them, but to me, I guess if I have one thing I came around from that game, and we'll spend more time on this later, that interception to catch thing, like, is that it was an interception, it wasn't a catch, the ball hit the ground, it pinned it.
That
like,
one's wild.
It was
Tony, I'm thinking let's just call an audible since we're already talking about it. I said let's just start with the Super Bowl. So it's not like the Panthers news is like pressing or anything. Yeah, I mean, so this is a clip that I found. This is what everybody is really sort of freaking out over, right? They had the Bills it was 4th and 1, and one of the judges had him as a first down, and he had a better view to the ball than the one who said that they didn't have a first down. He didn't even have a good look. And they changed it to the ruling of the judge that didn't have a good look. So you see here, Allen's right there. That's the line. The white line is the line of the game.
The ball's behind, though.
No, you saw his shoulder didn't move beyond it, though. Like, if you see,
look,
his first
this is him right here.
Beyond. The ball is basically on the
right
left side. There, look at that.
Dude, I don't think that's indisputable right there.
If you look at the angle from the other side where you can see the ball and you can see his head, it's pretty clear. Where he's holding the ball is his left side of his body. Like, he's got the power of his, like, the grip is on his left arm. He's using his right arm there. And
So
so,
look, where
yeah,
my mouth
It's
is.
not a little whiny though.
no, I mean,
Yeah,
if
when
you
you're
if you're a
talking
boss,
about-
You're a boss.
when you're
boss,
talking about going to the Super Bowl or not, you know what I'm saying? That's pretty fucking tough, man.
all right. To me, that interception, dude, that or not interception. See,
yeah,
I
that
don't.
was where
I
it
want
was
to
a
see that top
Here-
angle.
my issue with that one, where they're saying it was a catch or that it was a catch by Xavier Worthy, is if nobody had clear possession of it when the ball hit the ground, then it should have been an incomplete pass.
Yeah,
If you're saying there was clear possession of the ball before when the ball was on the ground, then it was the Bills player that had possession of the ball at that time.
yeah. The ball helped him get possession. All right, let's see this top angle.
Yeah,
right
look,
here.
so the ball is about right here. It's in his hands. And then right there, boom,
Yeah.
the ball is right here. The line is right there.
All right, what we need to talk about on this is that it's 2025.
Yeah, how I didn't know.
They can do facial recognition of everything in the world. They can do all these things. They're all this technology. How do they not have some sort of GPS system on this to just say, look, is that like you should be able to, like his knees not down, this and that. You should be able to know exactly if the ball touches the plane, touches that line. Come on, folks. I know, look, we do like, and I am hesitant to just give the world over to machines. Like I do like something about baseball umpires calling a strike zone and different things like that. But I don't know. It's like, let's just chip this sucker up. Especially with that stupid tush push that we watched the Eagles do where you can't see anything.
Yeah.
You have no idea. I don't even know if the chip would help because you know if their knee is down or anything like this. But right there, we would have not been able to, we would have just said this, is that the ball touched the line or not. We wouldn't have said angles. We wouldn't have said anything.
Right.
Is it time to chip the football? I think it is.
I don't know why they haven't done so already. Like
Yeah.
why are we depending on judges to get this right or wrong, dude? And it's like, who didn't know that there was gonna be some bullshit at the end of this game, and people were gonna be talking about the referees giving it to the Chiefs? Like, you literally could have predicted this.
I think you got to just beat the Chiefs, though. You know, is that, I mean, if we're going to continue to be like that, I mean, like overall, it's like you got to defeat evil. And to defeat evil is to just beat their ass straight up, no decisiveness. Let them have whatever cause, whatever you think it is. And the thing is that they didn't stop the Chiefs enough. You know, you got to just take it.
No, they didn't. And by the way, also, when you look at Philadelphia in in comparison, dude, they're money with that tush push.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody was just sort of
I want to see Cam with that.
People were making the tush push a big deal because they were like, oh, it's an automatic first down. You can't do anything to stop it. Bullshit. Look, the 6'5", 245-pound Josh Allen, they're out there trying to do the tush push, and they can't do it like Philly does. So, you know what I mean? And, dude, how about this? This also, it kind of lends to your point, Tony. This was the 5th time the Buffalo Bills were stopped on a 1-yard.
Yeah.
Like, how many times?
Dude, it happened all day.
Stopped running that same fucking play. Like, that's where I agree with you, Tony. It's like, no, you got to beat them. Don't let it be up for a discussion. Make it undeniable. And they didn't do that.
Yes, snatch victory from the jaws of defeat.
Right.
Do what we would do. My favorite play of all time is the bootleg out, baby.
Yeah.
The bootleg.
And by the way,
why isn't Josh Allen looking like he's running to the middle and then whoop to the outside?
Why not put him in shotgun and give him a lead blocker out in front of him and let him fucking go and get it?
Yeah, let him. See, the difference between the Eagles and the Bills on this is the Eagles have massive bodies up front. The Bills do not have the offensive line for that type of, I mean, they can do it, don't get me wrong, but they're going to be less successful than a team like the Eagles when you talk about the big bodies those guys have. So that's one. Number two, and I agree, I think nobody's talking about saying that the Chiefs aren't a good team. But when you're talking about a good team being given an advantage of some sort, like you have to be overly better than them in order to be able to beat them in an environment where they're so it's for lack of a better way to say it, you've got to be too big to rig. You know what I mean? Like it's
right.
It's,
this game should have been at home. You know what? If the Bills didn't want this, the game should have been at home.
Yeah.
Even last year, it was at home in Buffalo, and they still didn't do it.
Right, but like what I'm saying is that there is opportunities, not opportunities, but like, I mean, I'm not for the excuse game a little bit. It's like, it's like we can talk about individual misses, individual this, but snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. And you know what? The Kansas City Chiefs, they ain't about that life, bro. If you give them any opportunity, I don't care.
They're gonna take it.
And you guys aren't gonna like this, but I think I am pulling for the Chiefs in this Super Bowl because I like the idea of the first three-peat in the history of football. Like, I mean, it's like to see that. I do like Andy Reid. I do think Mahomes is incredible. I don't love the Chiefs, but I don't have a problem with them, I guess.
Dude, to me, this is like just the worst, dude. Like,
I know.
Philadelphia Eagles.
Nothing, man. The Falcons, Patriots was
fans.
The worst.
No, but even with the Falcons and the Patriots, it didn't feel good going into it. But that delivered in such an epic way to our shitty division rival. But like this, like neither of them deserve anything good. You know what I mean? Like one of them has to win. I mean, I get if you want to see history, I get it. But who gives a shit? It doesn't make
the only animosity that people can have to the Chiefs is that they're always there, and the story of the script. Yeah. Other than that, like we don't have no beef with the Chiefs. I have beef with the Patriots and the Falcons. And like, I mean, I hate both of those teams. I hate the Falcons more than anybody. Like, there's nothing more in this world than I hate. It's like the devil and the fucking Falcons.
Yeah. So just to show you the Panthers in comparison to those Super Bowl teams, Bryce Young faced the 2004 NFC and AFC champions during the 2024 season. His combined stats in those two games: 251 total yards, 2 touchdowns, and 4 and 6 on fourth down. A lot of grasping for straws, really. There's not really
much. That was grasping.
Yeah, not really much. Led a game-tying drive versus Kansas City, and a go-ahead touchdown versus Philadelphia was dropped.
I think this, though, is that it's in some ways it is grasping for something to talk about. But on the other hand, it was these games right here that started to propel the Panthers to the end, this like a good ending that we had. And that while they weren't wins, they were moral victories, whatever the terminology you wanted to use. Those games didn't feel like losses to us at all.
No.
So I was, it's not, it is grasping, but it's not. It's us grasping at some hope. The hope dealer is dealing it right now for me. And that was the beginning of what became and started to become momentum.
Yeah. No, I think there's value in that. It also is kind of interesting to see how much of a part the Panthers played in both of these teams making it to the Super Bowl. Where the Eagles were able to maintain the number one spot in the NFC East. So they had their home field advantage pretty much locked in throughout the playoffs outside of obviously, the Super Bowl. And then you had the Chiefs basically that, winning against us, if we had beaten them there, they might have been playing at the Bills, at that point in time, because the Bills would have had something to play with for the last week of the season. So, I mean, there are some, real things that could have, impacted the way that this playoff actually worked out had we won those games. So, there's really only one person to blame, and that's ourselves.
Yeah. All right. I would like to remind everybody that this podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy, daily fantasy football is the best app for your big game party. It's actually on your phone. It's called Underdog. Underdog is the best place to cash in on all your takes during the big game, which players are going to go off and which ones are ice cold. Make your entry in just a few taps. Guys, with their pick'em game, you can win up to 1,000 times your money by just choosing higher or lower on stats, touchdowns, interceptions, and more. Guys, I'm about to pull up the Underdog app because it's that simple. Underdog is the only pick'em platform that puts power to put cash in your hands now. You can either keep riding your entry or tap win now button and cash out whenever you want. Every dog deserves a second chance. Right now, you can go to Underdog Fantasy and you can get Patrick Mahomes 219 yards, 219 and a half passing yards, more for me. Devontae Smith, where has he been at? He is a star on the Eagles, and he has been a quiet name throughout. Xavier Worthy, will he have more than 4.5 receptions? You go to Underdog Fantasy. You use the promo code C3P. That's C3P. And deposit now to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. That's promo code C3P. It's the best place to play Pick'em. You must be 18 years or older, 19 years or older in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 years or older in Colorado for some games, 21 years or older in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 23342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line, not Hope Dealer, Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Cody Lack, what we got next?
Yes, sir. One shout out to Nirvash for the 5. Said if we had a mediocre defense and if Leggett could catch, we could have beat both of these teams in the Super Bowl.
We got some things to talk about. Look at. Should we start there then?
Yeah, man. Let's just jump right into the show, dude. So like we said, tonight's show, put this down. Robert Hunt named as Pro Bowl alternate as fans wish for alternate Super Bowl. But yeah, let's jump right into the show, man. So because Landon Dickerson is going to the Super Bowl, the Carolina Panthers have another Pro Bowl player in the form of our man who has quickly become a fan favorite. Robert Hunt is going to the Pro Bowl. The Panthers now have a pair of Pro Bowlers as a guard. Robert Hunt is joining cornerback J.C. Horn at the 2025 Pro Bowl games. Hunt was named to the team to replace Eagles guard Landon Dickerson, who will be preparing for the Super Bowl. The 28-year-old guard, signed as a free agent last March, quickly became a part of the personality of a new-look team as they established a strong running game and a much-improved pass protection. He played every offensive snap in the first 16 games before a knee issue kept him out of the regular season finale. He allowed just 2.5 sacks on the season as a whole, was called for holding once, and allowed a 6.8 quarterback pressure percentage. He joked at the end of last season that after being a 5th alternate in his final season with the Dolphins, he was climbing the ladder as a 2nd alternate this year. I can actually say that I was snubbed. I just know I can be better. I was an alternate last year, so this year I got closer. I was a closer alternate. Maybe next year I kick the door down. I'm going to do all I can this offseason to try to kick the door down. Congrats to Robert Hunt. Tony CK multiple times throughout the season. We talked about how impressive he was this year and how going forward he is going to be a linchpin of what we do on offense, running the football and pass protecting. Easily Dan Morgan's biggest free agent signing that proved to be the most worthy.
Easily. And I almost my two questions to you guys and to the chat. First is, did Robert Hunt have a single holding call against him all season? Remember that stat that was out there? Did he ever get one? Which I think would be incredible. What incredible! I think that should get him to the Pro Bowl right away.
Yeah.
And second, who's more deserve? Who should be in the Pro Bowl more, J.C. Horn or Robert Hunt?
Ooh.
I feel like I kind of think it's Robert Hunt, but
I mean they're both very deserving. Robert Hunt. I mean, dude, listen, the defense was the worst part of our team. So the fact that we even have a defender going to a Pro Bowl at all is kind of wild. Yeah. But dude, Robert Hunt deserves it, man. I mean, everything that we want to be going forward is going to be built around the presence of somebody like Robert Hunt.
He's the linchpin. I think he is the guy that you build the line around. He's not an addition. He's the centerpiece for me.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think you want to have those. And when Bryce was having his struggles his first year, we had one of the guys that we have on from a Saints podcast. You probably Alan. He was talking about, or maybe it was his cohort was talking about if knowing how they handled Drew Brees, you have to get offensive tackles that are big,
guards.
Yeah, that's what I mean, guards. And you've got to have them. You have massive guys up front to be able to protect him because that's what you need when you're talking about a shorter statured quarterback such as Bryce Young. And so here we are. They go out and get the guy that the two of those guys that are gonna hopefully hold down the center there, and it worked out well. And Bryce Young started to shine towards the end of the season, and all of a sudden the comparisons to Drew Brees can start to actually make a little more sense now.
Cody, the thing that makes me love Robert Hunt the most or is so endearing to me, you go out and you address a need, right? We so tired. Don't worry. I don't want to talk about Brian Burns at all, even though Frankie Louvu had just as many sacks as Brian Burns. Right, think about that.
I miss that dude so bad, watching him fly around, make plays.
Oh,
God, why couldn't we have kept that dude?
Yeah, but I'm happy for him. I'm happy, but the thing is that we spent so much energy and time and energy talking about Brian Burns, but we saw the real logic in like what Dan Morgan needed to do. Not only did he do something that was logical, like needed to be done, it worked, right? But here's the thing: is not only did it work on the field. To me, the most endearing part about Robert Hunt is he is a free agent that's been brought in here that got paid good money, but at a position that's not celebrated by a lot of people. Automatic leader, automatic team leader, automatic fan favorite. To me, that's the most endearing part. I put him in the Pro Bowl just for that.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, when I say I'm missing Louvu, bro, I'm missing Frankie Louvu, man.
Bro, there was this one play that Louvu did where he jumped the snap count entirely.
Yeah, did.
No, that was when they were doing the tush push.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, you're talking
like,
something else.
He jumped the snap count, like, and when I say jumped it, he timed it correctly.
Yeah,
and he ran right, like the ball. That mug plays with some I don't know, some special. He's got that hawk up. He does. Oh God, I love. You know what is that? I love this. Is when you're a player on our team that we love you, we truly love you, and we wish the best for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm rooting for him. Every single Panther fan was cheering for him.
Yeah, man, it felt like he was a homegrown talent for us.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he started with, I think it was the Jets, but whatever, dude, he was ours. He was ours. We had him, and then everybody has to fucking.
I put him in the Hassan Reddick camp, which is like he's better than we thought he was going to be.
Yeah,
and we wish we would have kept him.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
What we got next?
Next up on the docket is more pertaining to this offensive line. So, Pro Football Network put out a list of the top offensive lines this season, and they ranked them by number. The Carolina Panthers were number 19, and they also had some cool stuff to say about Robert Hunt. They said it was a transitional year for the Panthers offense, but the offensive line wasn't one of the bigger problems for them in the grand scheme of things. A 19th-place ranking is not that impressive, but it's all relative to a poor performance elsewhere on the team. Regarding the situational pressure stats, the unit was fine but below average. Carolina is 19th in pressure rate, which is perfectly adequate stats, whether facing the blitz or facing just 4 or fewer rushers. The run game numbers are also solid. And get this, with the 10th place ranking in RBWR.
Oh, what the hell is that?
One block win
run
rate.
block. I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, it's okay, right? Run block win rate. Then there's run block YBs. Jesus, I have no idea what the.
You know what? This is poor writing, bro. You gotta explain this to us.
But they didn't explain it very well.
Running back yards before contact.
All right, yes.
Running back yards before contact. Good, thank you.
Yeah, man. It's okay, man. He appears to be on an individual basis. Robert Hunt graded out as the second best interior offensive lineman in run block win rate. He appears to be a strong offseason addition from last offseason and could well prove to be the centerpiece of the line going forward. So this is sort of what we're alluding to, man. Robert Hunt, he deserves that Pro Bowl nod. He's one of the best players on the team. And that win rate, dude, you can't make that up.
I think this is that if it would not have been for the Panthers I felt like the offensive line played great through about week 13, 14. Yeah. I feel like that's almost an insult. I think they played better.
They started to get hurt down the line, too.
Yeah, I thought they played better than 19. But there were those games towards the back end of the season where we gave up 5. Well, no, I felt like we were getting sacks. I think the Panthers were a top 15 offensive line. And I mean, we'll take these guys' numbers for what they are. But to me, this was one of the better offensive lines that I've seen in Panthers history.
Yeah. I agree. I think I don't disagree with Nirvash saying 19 seems low for the eye test. I feel like this was a top 10 offensive line this year.
Me too.
Like, given some of the not having Austin Corbett all year, some of the injuries we did have towards the middle of the year. I think if you look at the difference from last year to this year, it's just substantial. And maybe I feel like it's a top 10 offensive line because it's such a drastic difference from last year. It's sort of like the ugly girl makes the medium.
She got her braces off. She grew some boobs all of a sudden over the summer.
But I mean, I really don't think that's the issue here. I really don't. I think that what I see is like a really good offensive line, getting to, meshing things together.
I agree.
Allowing for, again, the number of sacks that, Bryce Young took that second. I mean, it wasn't even nearly as bad.
He had a lot of time too. Yeah. He didn't feel like he was just panic. I'm with you.
The other part is like, it wasn't as though, like, one of the things with Bryce is he's always been somebody who, kind of moves around in the pocket a little bit, right? And what happens a lot of times, as it did with Cam, is you draw a lot of holding calls because you're getting outside of the pocket and these guys don't know where you're at.
Right.
And so but that wasn't even happening. Like
Yes.
these guys seem to understand how Bryce Young plays the game, and it felt like they were doing a pretty good job. I'm thankful that the majority of these guys are locked in for next year. I'd still like to see some of that depth and maybe
that's what it is.
Yeah, maybe get some figures, figure out some of that stuff. But even with that we graded out for the best, game of the season of any team, I'm guessing. Or is that what that stat said? Best of any team this year graded the best offensive line performance on week 18 against the Falcons. They're at the bottom.
Yeah, but you know what? How about this?
Yes,
Remember, the Falcons are like one of the few teams that had less sacks than we did.
Well, even with that, Robert Hunt wasn't playing that game.
Dude, this offensive line was this is what, look, how many times we have been calling for build that wall since 2016, I think, 2017 on this podcast. We built it, but now it's time to fortify it, just like you're talking about, CK, is you can't just rest on that these starters are going to start all the time. You want these guys to be linchpins, but you got to continue to strengthen your strengths.
Yeah.
And I am not opposed to the Panthers taking offensive linemen in the top 3 rounds, bro. Go.
Yeah, and dude, there's some good ones that are coming through the draft too. It's a kind of a low-key deep draft for offensive linemen too.
Isn't this a good thing, Cody, though, as a draft guy? Like when you have a starting group that is good, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And then you can draft someone that makes them great, where it doesn't put the pressure to them to start to be great, but like they can just naturally become great. I think the Panthers should not rest on their laurels here, and they should continue to fortify their strengths.
No, I definitely agree. And listen, we need a center. The Carolina Panthers, and maybe we don't say it enough, boys, going into 2025, we do not know who the starting center for the Carolina Panthers is going to be. That's a problem.
Well, the good part is centers are cheap in free agency, though.
They are, but I'm saying if you can grab a really good one in the first or second round, and listen, let's also be real, boys. Like, pretty soon here we're going to be doing nothing every Tuesday and Friday, but going over mock drafts and looking at who's going where. This lends credence to those who really want to trade back in the draft. So, right now we're picking top 10. If you were to slide back into the early to mid-teens, pick up another first rounder, maybe another second rounder. Because remember, right now our second round pick is damn near a third round pick. Like it's near the back of the second round. So if you were able to move back a little bit, still pick up an incredible player, and be able to get some draft capital in the meantime for you to be able to make even more picks and grab a center, I'm with it, man. A lot of people in the chat, like White Chocolate, are saying Cade Mays at center. And look, Cade Mays was good at the end of the year last year. But did he really do enough for us to be like, oh, yeah, I'm confident in him going forward no matter what? Like, has he really earned that level of trust for us yet, CK? I don't know that he has.
I think that it's such a hard question to answer. I think that the dude did show up big time. I think he was cut. He came in and he played really well. I also think he plays really well because I think the center position, again, benefits tremendously from having, big guys surrounding you like Hunt and Lewis. So I'm not saying that's the only reason he succeeded, but I do think that helps when you have a solid group of guys around you. I don't know that I'm willing to bet the farm on him right now. But I'm confident if they made the decision to move forward with him because he does have the chemistry with this squad.
Yeah. No, there's lots of different ways that we can sort of put this whole thing together. There's lots of different options. And by the way, to those of you that want to get into the cat calls, we only have 2 calls right now. Only 2 of them. So listen, boys, ladies, gentlemen, in the chat, if you would like to leave a message, have your voice heard on the longest running Panthers podcast on the internet, do so now, man. Leave us a message at 252-228-5098. Leave a message in the cat calls, and we will listen to you and your opinion on Panther Nation. CK, let's sort of move forward as we wait for Tony. Dan Morgan plans to adopt calculated risk strategy with Panthers free agents. Morgan lifted the lid on how he plans to approach the discussions in the not-too-distant future during a conversation with Mike Kay from the Charlotte Observer. The front office leader revealed that they have prices in mind for those who they want to retain, but if their representatives have other ideas, the Panthers are not going to overpay. That's very interesting. I think it's going to be on a case-by-case basis. I think some obviously will attack beforehand. Yeah. Some free agents will have to test the market and kind of let the market dictate what they're going to be paid. So we have a number in our head, and maybe the agent on one of our players has another number in their head. So we may have to let them test the market, and maybe they'll come back to us, or maybe they won't. That's just a risk that you have to take. Now, I know Brady Christensen is a player who said that he intends to test the free agent market, but I also wonder if they're factoring J.C. Horn into this too. Like, if J.C. Horn is wanting to be paid the top paid corner in the NFL, do the Panthers not want to pay him that much? It's interesting to wonder who this does and doesn't apply to. Okay.
I agree. I think that it's going to be easy to kind of telescope this onto to the Horn situation. I don't think that they're looking at Horn in the same light. I think it is the players like Brady Christensen that, will probably ask for more money than that. I think that they have proven that they're going to be worth. Not saying that he's not worth that, but I do think Brady Christensen is going to look at himself as, being way more valuable, being the jack of all trades of the offensive line,
I'm ready for him to do it too. What is I think this is just a fair way of thinking about it, right? Is particularly he's talking about, I think you guys are right. Is he talking about Brady Christensen right here? I think, or maybe Mike Jackson.
That's what I'm wondering. Who does this pertain to?
I think it's Mike Jackson. I think it's Brady Christensen. Mike Jackson is the guy I want more than anybody. That's who I want back on this team, but he played so well. He played so well this year.
Yeah.
That somebody else is going to be able to give him $3 million more than we could potentially. I just don't know if other teams are going to pay Brady Christensen a ton.
Yeah.
I just think it's fair. If I'm Brady Christensen, I want to be on a different team. Is that at no turn did they don't believe in you at all? No. I got to get my charger for my laptop.
He's proven himself, I think, to be able to, be a starting caliber player. And when players have gone down, they've put players like Cade Mays in over top of him. Right? That doesn't make a tremendous amount of sense to me personally.
No, it doesn't. And no, I 100% agree with what Tony said. At no point in time, look, let's put it into context. Brady Christensen, played 4 positions for the Carolina Panthers in his 4 years here? That's a new position a year. The dude played left tackle, he played left guard, he played center, and I believe he played some snaps at right guard too. Maybe he got some. I don't know if he ever got right tackle snaps, CK. But dude, why wouldn't he want to go somewhere where someone's going to value him as a starter? What more did the Carolina Panthers need to see from him?
Right.
Before they gave him a chance on the offensive line. Yeah, if I'm him, I definitely want to go somewhere else. And Tony, I know you're charging. I don't know if you're still hearing me or not, but
I can hear you.
Yeah, to me, the one I'm wondering about the most is J.C. Horn. Seeing as how he's going to be the most expensive contract that we're going to have coming up this offseason, JC knows that he wants to get paid. I'm wondering if that's another hint, nudge, nudge.
Right.
Maybe they're not looking to reset the market for J.C. Horn. But I don't know. Those are the 2 names that jump out to me. It's Brady Christensen, and then I wonder about about J.C. Horn and how
I
they
think
feel
this is
about it.
Mike Jackson, dude, because J.C. Horn can be under the 5th-year option.
Yeah, but so if it's Mike Jackson and they do let him go, I mean, I don't know. Does that change our draft priorities? Does that change? I really don't even think there's a lot of free agent corners out there. So
I don't
it's like,
know. I don't know, but he's also knowing that the leverage. I think this is. If I was going to guess a player, if we picked one, I think it's Mike Jackson here.
Okay.
That's who I would pick. If this statement would be tailored to, but I could be wrong. All right, what we got next?
Yeah, moving forward. Is this the same? No.
Did I I might have duplicated the
Yeah,
slide.
this is a duplicate.
All right.
All right, so this is an NFL analysis by Gary Davenport of Bleacher Report, just really dragging the Panthers over hot coals over their first-round pick, Xavier Leggett. He says it's not surprising that the Panthers traded back into round 1 last year to grab a wide receiver. Veteran Adam Thielen isn't getting any younger, and quarterback Bryce Young needs to go to a wideout, a long-term number 1 wideout. The Panthers just picked the wrong guy. Granted, Keon Coleman's first season in Buffalo has been underwhelming at 57 targets, 29 receptions, and 556 yards, and 4 touchdowns in 13 games. But Coleman has all the ingredients to be a number 1 wideout on the boundary for an NFL team. Over the second half of last season, Young showed some real signs of growth as a passer, improved receiver play. Improved receiver play can only help the chances Young's third season is his best. So
this is crappy analysis, dude. This is talk to be talk right here. You're trying to tell me you're saying that the Panthers picked the wrong guy, and you picked the guy that had less importance on a playoff team, on a team that and maybe I'm just stubborn on this, but I'm not down on Leggett. I'm not down. I mean, I know that it could have been better. I know we wanted it to be better. I know you wanted to get a superstar. You want the Justin Jefferson pick every time. But I didn't watch Leggett and go, oh, we fucked up.
Right.
I just don't see that. I just don't see it. And then you're going to give an example of another player, a rookie who had less receptions, less yards, and less touchdowns. I think this is just people writing to write, CK.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that there is any again, the idea that there's some difference between Keon Coleman and Xavier Leggett is hysterical, right? You have one of the best passers in the NFL and Josh Allen, who can throw the ball down the field like a crazy mofo. And I tell you what, he wasn't looking at Coleman very often for those throws. Coleman has, he's right. Underwhelming is a understatement.
Compliment.
Yeah, it's a compliment.
It's a compliment.
Now, if you were to try to say to me that maybe McConkey would have been better, then sure, I could say that makes sense because that dude's been balling out. But that doesn't mean that Xavier Leggett was a bad choice. We just got to be able to give this guy the benefit of the doubt. He was picked at the end of the first round. To go back in DJ Moore's first year and tell me how you thought about him after year 1, after his fumble issues and everything like that. Yeah. Like this idea that you're going to know what these situations are is just, it's hysterical.
I disagree with Anthony in the chat who says Leggett was always going to be the future wide receiver too. I don't want to put a ceiling on my man yet. Big body, strong. Let's just not wrap people's careers up in one play. And look, I think too is for Panther fans, I would just encourage you to think beyond those visual plays. Look, when you play cornerback, when you play wide receiver, when you play quarterback, your whole game can be visually consolidated into these visual plays like these. And you take away, and I know you're like, what if my aunt had nuts, she'd be my uncle. If my mom had wheels, she'd be a bicycle. I heard one guy, Italian guy, say, is the thing is that Leggett had 6 touchdowns this year, bro.
I think that it would
minus those two, that you minus those big plays and those big moments, and he was there making it. It wasn't like he just bummed it out. That one, what was the one? Was it the Eagles? Where that game, like the one down the field and
where he dropped it.
If you minus that, if you could take that play away, I'm not saying forget it. I'm just saying if that play did not exist in his repertoire this year, I think the story is not as negative. But that's
also not really the truth too. I mean, not saying that you're lying, but there were a couple big time drops that he had throughout the course of the year this year, starting from early and ending late. We've said that he needs to get on the drugs machine and start catching the ball better. Until right now, or until proven otherwise, Anthony's not wrong. Like a lot of the turnaround on first year wide receivers, it's faster than a lot of other positions in the NFL. There's a quicker turnaround on wide receivers. But right now, I mean, look, boys, let's just be honest. There is a large contingent of Panther fans who do not believe that Xavier Leggett is a wide receiver number 1. And
I'm not one of them, dude. I am not one of them.
I understand you, but I feel like we're in the same place that we were after Bryce Young's first year. If you believe that he has a bunch of talent and untapped potential that we have yet to see, then yeah, you're going to believe in him and give him more of a grace period. But if you were someone that never wanted to draft him in the first place, which there were many that didn't think Leggett was a wide receiver 1, if that was already your idea beforehand, this season probably didn't do a lot to alleviate those fears. Yeah. So Xavier Leggett is in the same place as Bryce. It's time to put up or shut up. It's time to prove your worth. Yeah,
too much. I think it's too. We're too first date, where you need to fall in love in your first date, or you're not, or there's no potential here. To me, I've seen more production out of this guy than I've seen in so many players that we've drafted and given grace. I'm on the Leggett. I'm a Leggett backer, and I think we get lost too much in wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 talk. Is he going to be a positive addition to your team or not? I think he's a positive addition. I think he's only going to get better. I am a Leggett supporter here.
Yeah.
Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, folks. What's next, Cody?
Yeah, going forward. Tony, you added these, and this was a good retrospective for us, is the top 5 best decisions that Dave Canales made as a head coach this year in his first year as Panthers head coach. And there were a few different ones. And the first one we have is offensive line blocking concepts.
Before we get into it, shout out to Cat Crave and Dean Jones. This is his work, and we're just talking about it because we're Panther fans chopping up the news. I check out the news, go to catcrave.com, support other Panther sites and writers. Dean Jones, across the pond doing work. He says offensive blocking concepts, best decision. He writes, the Carolina Panthers offensive line was an abomination before Dave Canales' arrival. Everyone aside from stud right tackle Taylor Moton underperformed last season, and quarterback Bryce Young paid a heavy price. Good writing there, by the way, Dan. After some heavy investments, true. Dan Morgan right there. Hopes were high this group could take a step forward in 2024. Canales kept things simple. He hired Joe Gilbert. By the way, Joe Gilbert, the coach on this team, right? Is you got Mr. Smiley, happy, Ted Lasso, Dave Canales, and you got kind of coarse, scoury, he's like a rough on the edges Joe Gilbert to get them to sing from the hymn sheet. Sing from the hymn sheet. The coach also implemented blocking concepts that were far better suited their strengths. This sounds simple, Dean writes, but it's complication that Frank Wright and his staff couldn't solve. Everyone benefited from these additions of Damian Lewis and Robert Hunt free agency, being more physical, getting the football out the quarterback's hands quickly. Number one, he says offensive blocking concepts. You can put blocking concepts, Cody and CK, but you say Dan Morgan addressing the problem.
Go ahead, CK.
Yeah. I've been saying it. I think that the fact that this offensive line plays so well, even when there's backups in there, I think is a testament to the offense that Dave Canales runs. Listen, we went from having a middle of the pack defense last year and a horrible offense last year I shouldn't say last year because now 2024 is last year, in 2023. And we went from that to having the worst defense in the history of the NFL potentially. And then our offense actually took a step forward and we had a better record than we did last year. So name another scenario where we would have historically bad defense and we actually had a better record than we did the year before. That's just a wild thought. I think that leads a lot
with
of
that fool's gold.
Yeah.
Particularly with that fool's gold last year. You're right, CK. What was the next best decision he made, Cody?
The next best decision was making Chuba Hubbard a focal point. Man, did we love Chuba this year. Balled out of control. Dean Jones writes, Dave Canales made his intentions clear when becoming Carolina Panthers head coach. He wanted to be stubborn running the football and establish an identity of physical aggressiveness from the outset. This wasn't easy considering the Panthers are playing from behind more often than not over the first half of 2024. Once Canales decided to make Chuba Hubbard a genuine focal point, it didn't take long for improvements to arrive. Hubbard's story is refreshing. He went from a poor rookie campaign to a core foundational piece for the future. Canales lauded the former fourth-round pick for his emerging leadership and tone-setting work ethic throughout the offseason. When he got the necessary workload, the Oklahoma State product thrived. Canales gradually leaned on Hubbard more as the season went on. His momentum built and his confidence increased. He emerged as one of the league's most productive runners under the coach's guidance. It was a career year for Chuba. I think that was great for us fans that have been watching him for a long time. Really sort of turn that curve and come around full circle. And just like we give Canales so much of the credit for turning around Bryce, man, great year by Hubbard. I think you also have to give a ton of credit to Coach Dave on that one as well.
CK, can you warm up the pipes and hit up Al the Sailor for becoming a C3 superfan?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, we have welcomed a brand new superfan into the Superfan Club. Pretty sure he's been here before, but he's a returning member, Al the Sailor. Welcome in to the Superfan Club.
Yeah, appreciate you, Al.
I want to ask this to CK though, real quick.
Yeah.
Is this revisionist history though, making Chuba Hubbard a focal point? How many people were upset that Dave Canales said, run, we're going to run, and then continued to, they say he didn't commit to it? I thought,
right.
I don't think it's revisionist history personally, but do you think that this is looking back and we just finished on a high note and we were like, hey, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there is a bit of, hindsight's always 20/20, right? We're going to look at these and say like in that moment, it felt like throughout the season, we weren't really making him a focal point. I think that it's the fact that we're saying that now does seem kind of ironic, being that we were kind of frustrated by the fact that Dave Canales was saying that we want to run a lot, and then we never really did. So I don't know that I agree with you on that front and the revisionist history aspect of things, but I do believe that did change as the season went on, and it was clear that he was becoming a bigger part of the entire situation,
Yeah, I think they believed in Chuba as the season, and Chuba, he turned me around.
Yeah.
I got a Chuba for Chuba.
Yeah.
All right.
You did.
What was the next best decision, Cody?
Thank you to your bastard son, White Chocolate Espresso says, all I got to do now is throw the bag at Barkley. Yeah, probably not, though. All right, moving on. We've got sticking to his principles.
All right, so I got you. The Panthers were 1-7 once upon a time in this season. Questions were being asked about whether Dave Canales was the right man for the job. That's written by Dean Jones at catgrave.com. The team had supreme confidence in his capabilities, but some analysts wondered if former Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive coordinator was out of his depth. Canales remained a beacon of positivity amid the doom and gloom. While most first-year head coach would panic and alter their approach with pressure building, he decided to stick with his principles instead. It took time, he writes, but this paid off in the second half of 2024. Panthers were more effective, especially on offense. They were competitive versus some legitimate Super Bowl challenge and got themselves to 5 wins. This represented the biggest sign yet that Canales' unrelenting methods were starting to bear fruit. When it comes to this, is why I continue to sing the praises. Look, thank God he's got big shoulders and good shoulders because the weight of the world was upon him. I thought there was a moment. It was so bad, guys, that I think this is why I continue saying that Dave Canales is really, to me, the biggest story this season. And I know you guys say both Bryce Young and Dave Canales. There was a real moment I thought that they lost the fan base. They lost the fan base, and it was he didn't lose the team somehow. And to me, this is real Ted Lasso shit right here.
Yeah.
Is that it's not fake. It's real, and it worked. Dave Canales, you did it, bro. You did it. I'm a Dave Canales believer, bro.
Yeah, dude, Dave Canales is he did a lot of really good things to start the season that we didn't really notice until later. I also think that we need to see him more just with a better defense. You know what I'm saying? When you're calling plays, it's so hard to see the full dearth of the offensive playbook when your defense is always having you play from behind. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like you're really not even seeing what they're capable of. And the fact that he was able to get consistency out of this offensive line in spite of all that, put forth points, especially in the latter half of the season. Yeah, I mean, the dude, it should give him a little bit of grace going forward, knowing that he was on the right track, that he is building something the right way, and next year is going to represent a big a turning point in his career. Are they going to be able to take the next step that we're wanting to see them take? So next year is pivotal.
I think it's easy to say trust in the process, trust in the process. I tell my students this is you do the process right, the results will come. It's easy to say that, and it's difficult to accept that when the results aren't coming. But at the same time is that it did pay off in the end. I think Dave Canales goes into this season with a weight off his shoulders, a self-belief in himself, a confidence, and not a confidence just from us, a confidence from above him and David Tepper. I think an inner confidence, and that inner confidence will be necessary in these moments of difficulty. Dave Canales, big shout out to you. Great shoulders, second only to Tony Dunn.
And a chest second to Ron Rivera's.
It's not even close to Ron, bro.
And not even close to Ron. Moving on to, I believe this is number 4, trusting young Carolina Panthers players. Dave Canales probably knew that his squad wasn't going to be good enough this season. The Carolina Panthers were rooted at rock bottom with nowhere to go but up under his leadership. There were positive changes throughout the offseason, but it was always going to take time. It was a roller coaster campaign as expected. However, one of the biggest underlying positives to emerge centered on Canales' trust in his young players. Canales placed significant responsibilities on some unproven commodities. Most of the 2024 NFL draft class got extended playing time during the season. The Panthers also found 2 undrafted gems in wide receiver Jalen Coker and safety Damani Richardson. The head coach had no qualms about putting a lot on their plate and seeing how they would do to cope. And Tony, CK, I love this the most. Under Ron Rivera, he was never good at playing the young guys in a full enough capacity early in his career and later in his career. It was the same thing with Fat Rule when he was here, not giving players the opportunity that they probably deserved at that point in time. I love that our head coach is focused on developing young players. And the only way that you do that, Tony, the only way to do that, CK, is to get on the fucking football field.
Give them an opportunity.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Thought, CK, or let's move on. We can move on.
Good,
What's
man.
next?
I think we can't say much more about how much we are happy with what I can't tell you the last time after 1 year of a coach that we felt like, oh my gosh, maybe this is a breath of fresh air. Like we haven't had that in a long time.
Yeah.
This is the most awesome one. The best.
Yeah, this
decision.
is the one that everyone would probably put number one. And how could you not? How could you not, man? I mean, really, benching Bryce Young, one of the biggest reasons Dave Canales got the head coaching job in Carolina was his work with quarterbacks. He helped Russell Wilson to superstardom. He galvanized the careers of Geno Smith and Baker Mayfield. The Panthers were hoping he could do the same for Bryce Young after his woeful rookie campaign. The early signs were promising throughout the offseason. That didn't transition to a competitive setting as Young had some legitimate difficulties over the first 2 games of 2024. Young's confidence waned to demoralizing levels. Players were becoming frustrated, and everything was out of sync. This forced Canales into drastic action early in his tenure. The Panthers benched Bryce Young in favor of Andy Dalton. They received scathing criticism for supposedly giving up on the former Alabama star too soon. Canales thought taking him out.
Cody Lack.
Yep. Canales thought taking him out of the firing line and allowing him time to develop away from the spotlight was the best route forward. And boy, was he right.
Let me ask you this. Whose internet's jacked up? Mine or y'all's?
I'm good.
What do you mean?
Okay. All right. Then it's mine.
Wow, what's wrong?
Right.
What's happening?
Nah, just like I'm getting it. It's clippy for everybody else. So I guess it's my internet. But anyway, this is the most controversial, the most bold, the best, and it just worked. Somehow it worked. Somehow it freaking worked. And you can go back and watch some of our past shows, and we talked about how does the pathway forward of Bryce Young be successful? How does he see the field again? And it just miraculously worked. Half luck, half greatness, half smart, half dumb. I don't know. It worked. Bryce, we're walking in the next season with faith and confidence in our coach and our quarterback, and we didn't have any of those halfway in week 6.
No, we sure didn't, man. CK, anything to add?
No, dude. I think we've said this ad nauseum. I say no, I don't have anything to add, but I think that's one of the gutsiest calls I've ever seen.
Yes,
that guy, and have it work out. And honestly, I think to put that all on Dave Canales is kind of, I know nobody's saying it's only him, but I think it does take a little bit of the shine off of Bryce Young. I think Bryce Young to come back from that, that shows an incredible amount of mental fortitude. And I think he earned a lot of people's respect being able to kind of approach things that way, being able to come out and actually, I don't know, perform at a high level when everybody expects you not to be able to do that. And man, it's, I I think that Dave Canales deserves a lot of credit, but man, I can't help but just praise what Bryce Young was able to do coming out of a situation that most people couldn't come out of.
Can't say it better than that right there. What is next, Cody?
Next, you want to take some cat calls?
Yeah, let's take the calls. Guys, you can be a part of the show. The number is 252-228-5098. We'd love to get your thoughts on this. Don't forget, we've got a whole off-season free agent. Things we'll pick up around the draft, around free agency is going to come first. It's going to be a lot to talk about, but we need y'all's help. We need your input. 252-228-5098. Cody, Black, let's take these calls.
Let's do it.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
TK, Tony Dunn, Cody Lack, the C3 Legion.
What up,
What's going on, everybody out there? This ain't nobody but your boy CP, the Vintage Retro Man, North Carolina's neighborhood hope dealer.
What's up, my brother?
Hey, happy Tuesday, boys. I got an insane stat that I heard earlier today, and I had to share this with the Legion. Did y'all know that this past season we rotated more players on defense than every other team's entire team on both sides of the ball?
Holy moly.
Whoa,
let me repeat that. We rotated more players on defense this past season than every other team's entire team on both sides of the ball. That is insane. Now, I know I have given Evero a bad rap, and rightfully so. I mean, I still don't like his scheme, but he's here. But, man, that let me know that, we got to draft defense as well as free agents. Yeah. But, hey, quick question for you guys, man, before I let you go. Michael Jackson, man, Mike Jack. Man, I really think he overperformed this past season. Wanted to see what y'all thought about as far as what type of deal we should bring him back on. Maybe like a 2-3 year deal if y'all think that's too much. I didn't know what y'all thought as far as his value, but I like Mike Jack, man. But anyway, man, C3 Legion, man, love y'all out there. It's the Hope Dealer. Everybody keep pounding.
Keep pounding, baby. We appreciate you, brother. Tony, we were already talking about Mike Jackson a little bit on if he's the person that Dan Morgan would let hit the free agent market. He was impressive this year. And also, let's remember, it was a last-minute move, too.
Yeah.
Like, literally, right before the season started, we took a linebacker that we had drafted, I believe, in like the 6th or 7th round, traded him to Seattle for Mike Jackson, and he held it down for us all year this year, pretty much. I would love to see him back if it's at the right price. But at the same time, I wouldn't be mad if we tried to upgrade that cornerback room even still.
Yeah.
I am a Mike Jack dude supporter. I think this is that if you're going to quibble over $2 or $3, $4 million with him, you're making a mistake. I think you bring him back in free agency. I think he gave a lot to this team on a defense that stunk. And I think I'm with Cody is that you start working through the draft, you start working through other areas to continue to pad that. But again, we go back to that quote, and I think that it was about Mike Jackson right there is like how much, because another team might say, hey, we got a great corner and we add him as a 2 and we make some money, we can make a difference. To me, though, he's an integral part of this defense on a defense that stunk.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong, man. I would like to see him back. CK, did you answer? Would you like to see Mike Jackson?
Yo, dude, yeah. I've been saying that he needs to be one of a priority in the off season as well. Here's the thing: he's not going to cost a crazy amount of money. I don't think that anybody looks at him as like this crazy shutdown corner. But I tell you what, if we can have a defense that works the way that it's supposed to, I think he's a solid guy out there who can cover a number 2. I really don't think it's fair to these guys that are reasonably good players in the NFL having to go up against the number one wide receivers in the league, right? Like when you have a guy who made the Pro Bowl and JC Horn covering their third strings, right? It's just unreal. And I'm willing to give him the flyer as long as we have a defensive play caller who's willing to use these guys the right way.
All right. Well, do we got any more calls, or is that the only one?
No, we have more.
Yo, what's going on, my C3 family?
Hey, money, what's up, my brother?
Sanford, North Carolina. Yo, shout out to the great Tony Dunn, to the homie Cody Lack, the CK Cole Dizzle, to my brothers from another mother, Diesel Skills and Cole, and Mr. Shut the Hell Up Panther Pickle. Hey, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, congratulations to Robert Hunt. See, that's the type of energy that needs to go through this franchise right now and hit through those locker rooms. Guys that put in the work, guys that wanted to be here, and guys that showed that they wanted to be here. That big man, baby, did so many wonders for us this season. You think about it, Taylor Moton was never a bad offensive lineman. But when you put him beside that ultimate man, baby, Robert Hunt, his game just looks even more better. Almost makes him look as valuable as the contract that lays on him. But I ain't gonna lay it on that thick. But yo, while I'm saying that, that just means that energy is infectious. That gives guys something to work for. And I expect more Pro Bowlers next year, not as alternates, but just making the team straight up. I love every single one of you. Let's take back the bank. We have something to fight for now. Let's root for them boys. Let's protect the bank. Let's take the bank back. And if you ain't with us now, you're not welcome to the parade. Key.
Pound it. Keep pounding, brother. Great call as always, Tony.
Wonderful. I mean, I don't even have anything to say about it other than, we talked about Robert Hunt, guy that loves football. Him taking a leadership role on a bad team in tough times, to me, says a lot about his character, who he is as a person, and that's the type of player I want on my team.
Yeah,
that guy is a boss to build around. I don't think we need to settle, though. I don't think we need to rest on our laurels when it comes to this offensive line being repaired. I think you need to build the defense through free agency and continue to fortify that offensive line to the draft.
Yeah,
say it better.
Yep. All right. This is our last call, unless we get another one.
Yo, what's up, C3? It's Anthony from Charlotte.
What up, man?
Hope y'all boys are having a good Tuesday. Got some allergies going on, man. Feel a little out of it, so I won't be long.
Take a Zyrtec.
But, well, congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs. I know a lot of people say the refs is bullshit. But listen, let me tell you something. The same people saying this, they either didn't watch Tom Brady for all those years, or they did and they just love Tom Brady and Patriots fans. Tom Brady's one of the luckiest players I've ever seen. And I know you say Patrick may get all the calls or whatever, but Tom Brady, quite honestly, shouldn't have been in half of the Super Bowls he was. So don't be hating on Pat. He's a way more exciting player than Tom ever was. I don't get the hate. But anyways, we'll see what happens again. I mean, I feel like the NFL kind of wants this Chiefs three-peat. I think it'd be cool, though. I mean, Mahomes 4 Super Bowl wins before the age of 30. That'd be dope. So I got some stuff I want to talk about real quick. This whole trading back thing. Name one time where we traded back and it's actually worked. Like, I know, okay, this past year we did it simply to replenish picks to get, the second-round pick that we missed in the Bryce Young trade. So it's basically now like we didn't make the Bryce Young trade. It's like we, at this point, we gave up DJ Moore, and it is what it is. But I don't trust this team to trade back. I don't trust them to trade back and make a move. Like, you're in the top 10. That's where you've been the most successful drafting in the history of this franchise. I think you should still stick there. And I think, a lot of people are saying this draft only has 8 to 10 first-round grades. Well, you're at pick 8, so try to get one of the first round guys in the draft. Like, just stay where you're at. And like, this goes for other things. Like, we've never been good at drafting wide receivers in the second round. Like, I just want this team to start following the formula of what other good teams are doing. And like, you know, Cody brought up on the show about like 2 minutes ago about center. Listen, man, I'm all for drafting a center. But remember, guys, we could have drafted the center already. And like, granted, I don't think center is a huge need or anything. Like, I do agree with Kevin. I think Cade Mays can slide in the center. When your interior offensive line is so good, and your tackles are solid, like, your center's going to look good naturally too. And that's kind of why Bozeman was way better this year on the Chargers. But overall, I'm just going to say, like, man, this fan base, we got to start, you guys got to open your eyes. Not the horsemen and the brothers in the chat, but like other people, man. Start looking around the league at what other good teams are doing and try to hope this team follows that formula, man. It's really not that hard to get good in this league at this point. I don't know. I'm just not on the trade back train and stuff like that. Give me your thoughts. Anthony from Charlotte, keep motherfucking pounding.
Keep pounding.
Pounding.
I hear your point. Like, the Panthers are always best picking in the top 10. But, again, I just don't want to let the past scare us out of good shit in our future. You know, like, maybe it is the best deal for us to move back a little bit, especially if there's multiple players on the board. However, also don't overthink it either. Like, if an Abdul Carter is there staring you right in the face and that's a position of need for us at outside linebacker, jump all over it too, you know? I just don't want to get caught in the thing of, oh, well, the Panthers never do this right, so we can't do that. And I'm also pretty sure that Dan Morgan isn't going to take that mindset into this either. I think they just want to do whatever is the best thing for the Carolina Panthers. And also, boys, like, think about going into 2026 with 2 first-round picks. That's something we've never had before, ever. Like,
or trading back doesn't have to be as drastic. It could be moving from 9 to 12 and catching a second to do it.
But you could probably still get a first-round pick.
But you know what I mean? Like, just trading back doesn't mean not having a first-round pick. You know what I'm saying? That can be a lot. There's a lot of different things. I think you keep your options open. I think this team has so many needs. I think you're right, Cody. You don't get locked into anything. You don't get locked in. Instead, you lock in and getting the most, maximizing your value. You got a lot of picks in the top 115. So if you move back from, I mean, look, I don't think we're one pick away either from being great, bad, or anything like this. Is that if you can get it, if you got guys that you have on your board as you would take at 9, and someone says we're going to trade up to 9, and then you got another guy you would have taken at 9 and moved back to 13. Look, I think you got to be fluid. I think you got to be fluid here. And the Panthers, we can't get. Well, you can do whatever you want as a fan. Fan as you fan, as we say, right, on this show. But let's not get too just ahead of our skis on the Panthers being good to great all of a sudden. You can build. We got to build through the draft. We got to build through free agency, and they need to not make mistakes. That's it. Is that if trading back turns out to be a mistake, it will set us back. If trading back turns out to be a win, then it will help us. So you got to just be fluid, go with the punches. Nirvash, thank you again. Angel investor on tonight's show with a $5 love bomb. Again, he says, we typically don't trade out of the top 10. We drafted guys like Horn, Derek Brown, CMC, Luke Kuechly, Jordan Gross, all around 7 or 8 pick. It's not, here's the thing to me I learned this with a friend of mine told me this with fantasy football, like traditional fantasy football. Your first round pick can't miss. It's not the pick that wins the season for you, right? It's like that first round pick, it can be the pick that loses the season for you. And that if they get hurt, if they do this, that's fantasy football. So the Panthers, just whatever decision they make needs to work. If it's picking a guy in the top 10, they need to be a long-term. and we can't just all of a sudden say, and if look, we might as well hire Marty Herney then for a consultant on our first round pick only. If you want to pick in the top 10, top 15, I think the Panthers have enough needs to where trading out of the top 10. I think anything out of the top 15 though sets you back a little. Back.
I don't disagree. I think as long as you're not trading back in a significant way, and depending upon the haul you're talking about, like if you're talking about a good player that you're getting in return, I think that there's certainly an argument to be had that's worth trading outside of the top 15. But inherently, if you're just trading back to spot 20 and getting another second round pick, you really do have to start to have a conversation of whether that value is actually there or not.
Agreed. All right. Those are the calls for tonight. Thank you to the supporters of the show. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Don't forget to smash the thumbs up button, subscribe. Do us a solid. You hit that share button. You share it on Facebook. You share it on X. You share it on Instagram, wherever you hang out. Let your friends, text a friend that's a Panther fan and say, hey, these guys been chopping it up longer than anybody. 11 years. We're going to be heading into our 12th season right now. We wouldn't do it without you guys. You guys empower the show with your time, energy, and support. Cody Lack, we got more subjects to talk about?
Yeah, only a couple more that we can get on out of here and call it night. How about this, man? Ryan Khalil back in the news. Former Panther, great center for the Carolina Panthers. So former Panther star teams up with NBA icon to buy a Mexican football team. Former Pro Bowl Panther center Ryan Khalil and his business partner, NBA All-Star Blake Griffin, have acquired a controlling stake in an American football team based in Mexico and renamed the team Osos Monterrey. You'll recognize some of the other names in the Osos Monterrey ownership. One, Christian McCaffrey, Greg Olson, Luke Kuechly, Julius Peppers, Jonathan Stewart, Sam Darnold, George Kittle, and Ron Rivera. Khalil and Griffin's production company, Mortal Media, also plans to produce a documentary about their journey as new owners. And then Fowler said, I'd watch that. So that's pretty cool, man.
Viva la football.
Viva la football. Yeah, I have something I can say, but it's a whole nother.
I don't know. Man, look, it's what do you think the conversation was? Is like, hey guys, everybody throw in 30 grand.
I think they're all invested in the company, not necessarily I think they're just a part of the ownership company.
I just love the idea is that like you could go to your boys and be like, I got an idea. I want to buy a food truck. And you got a McCaffrey, Olsen, Kuechly, Peppers, Stewart, Kittle, Rivera. Like, hey guys, all I need is 30 G's. We're 100 G's each, and they're like, this is awesome. I love it. I do think that this type of stuff is probably necessary to make this type of football work. You know, I mean, if you think about this, is that you've got now football people invested in football stuff who know football people who talk about football all the time. If we need the AFL, the UFL, all these things to work, which we kind of do to help football, getting these guys being the investors is important. And I think it really probably shows the new wave of where football investment is going. I mean, look, you got Tom Brady being owner of the Raiders. I think it's cool, man. I'm down for this. And viva la football.
Viva la football. Moving on. How about this? The Saints are the new embarrassment of the NFC South.
Oh,
yeah. I love it, dude. Yeah, so there's a few things brewing. Basically, shout out to the Sports Nut, formerly Tepper's Brass Balls on Twitter. So this is from Josina Anderson. And he says, a league source tells me some of the questions surrounding Mike McCarthy and the Saints head coach vacancy, ever since he became a free agent, had involved sentiments over the power structure and communication when it comes to the football decisions, length of contract, etc., similar to the situation in Dallas. Obviously, McCarthy is very tenured and accomplished. It's not hard to surmise where he'd likely expect due respect. Everything has its own weight.
He's so goofy. He don't need no fucking respect. Sorry.
I mean, dude, he's
goofy as fuck, bro. Oh.
He's won a Super Bowl. Adding that note for context towards eventually what happens in New Orleans. Additionally, a lot of league perspectives have been given as to what owner Gail Benton should do when it comes to operations in her building in the future. So, yeah, it doesn't look that great. McCarthy may or may not be there. And then how about this? They were going to interview Cliff Kingsbury, and then he shut them down completely and said he's returning back to Washington as the offensive coordinator for Jaden Daniels and the Commanders' offense. So as of right now, Tony, what was it that we looked at last week? The Saints are like $50-something million. $52 million in debt. They have so many aging players, and they have Derek Carr under center as their quarterback. That's not great. All the young coaches don't want to go there. Nobody wants to be over there, man.
Also,
Joe Brady too.
Ice up to myself, maybe, and some of us that thought Derek Carr could help the Panthers at one point.
I mean, people thought Kirk Cousins could help us.
Yeah. Two things about this is fuck the Falcons. Number one, they're my most hated.
Welcome.
Number two is for younger Panther fans thinking the Saints have been good. The Saints being good is a relatively new thing.
Yeah.
It was not till Sean Payton and Drew Brees that they were any good. They stunk for a long time. But you know what? I hate my enemies, and I hate my enemies more when it comes to the Saints, the Falcons, and the Bucks. No sweat off my back at this moment. I'm glad they be struggling. I do have a lot of friends that I appreciate, people that have come on the podcast that are great. Bob Rose, sorry for you, brother. Not sorry. Next
up, that's it.
All right. Guys, don't forget to go to CarolinaCatChronicles.com. You hit the shop and the gear tab, and you can get the C3 Panthers podcast t-shirt. You can get the C3 Panthers mug. I'm telling you, that mug is where it's at, bro. It is clean. Guys, small things, make just $2 or $3 off each one. Sell one every 3 months. Somebody do us a solid, go buy some shit. If not, if you don't want to buy some shit, it's even cooler to smash the thumbs up button. Subscribe, be a member of the family by just giving us your time, energy, and attention. We appreciate all the ears. I'm telling you, I can't tell you how much I appreciate not only the people on this panel right here, but anybody who listens to my dumb ass talk about football. It's really cool. You guys are my brothers. Cody Lack. We've begged, we've pleaded for the Panthers, we've hated on the Falcons. There's only one last thing to do, and that's to ice some fools up. Let's ice these fools up.
Let's do it.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
It's our time where we step outside, or actually we do whatever the hell we want. It's our podcast where we pay homage to Steve Smith, where we ice someone up. Everyone's fair game. This isn't football only. You can talk football. We can talk about your mama. You ain't talking about my mama on this podcast. I can ice myself up like I've iced up 12-year-olds in Oklahoma. Let's go. Who wants to ice somebody up? Tell them to ice up, toughen up, get it together.
All right, who wants to go first? I got two of them.
All right.
Yeah.
I got all right, you go one. Let's bounce back and forth because I've got two. I've got two myself. And one's a congratulations. So man, you go. I'll go. You want me to go?
It don't matter. Whatever you want to do. I can go
I'll
first.
go first. I'll go then. I'll go. And we're probably gonna get demonetized for this, but I still got to do it, bro. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. We don't make any money off of the damn YouTube revenue, really. All right, here we go. This shit just made me just laugh, bro. And I don't know, is this AI? Is it not? Here we go.
We have new information now also on the plane crash. KTVU has just learned the names of the 4 pilots who were on board the flight. They are Captain Sum Ting Wong, Lo, Ho Lee Fook, and Bang Ding Ao. The NTSB
I don't know what that
Bang
is.
Ding Ao.
That's real, by the way. That is a real thing. They got
these. They can't be the real names, dude.
They're not the real names, but they are. Like, it was a prank. Like, somebody got the news anchor with that. I'm pretty sure, if I remember that correctly, because that's a few years back. But yeah, dude.
The only thing that could have been cooler is that Wayne's World reference to when they ordered like Vietnamese food or Korean, and he said, "I'll take the cream of some young guy." And he goes, "We'll have one order of cream of some young guy." And bro, he said, "Holy fuck, bang D."
This is the Ron Burgundy situation where she just reads whatever's on the prompter, doesn't understand what it is, just reading it.
So funny, so funny. You have to be careful in trying to be first to break the story. Cody, you want to go? You want to bounce back and forth?
Yeah, dude. So listen, I really don't even know. I'm icing up life, okay? Don't even ask me exactly who it is I'm icing up. Have you guys heard about gooning?
I think I've heard it, but you can remind me.
Oh, dude, this is where people they use masturbation to achieve levels of enlightenment and nirvana by doing this for like hours at a time. It's a whole thing. It's like a whole fucking internet religion. I wish I was making this shit up, dude. Anyway, this dude by the name of Nautica Malone, he drove up to this place called Bikini Beans, and the dude was sitting in his car beating his meat with his pants down. Well, a girl goes up and films him, runs up and like films him, and like he
invaded his privacy, bro.
Yeah, dude. Listen, so this dude fucking drives away, but later, because it was posted on the internet, the dude freaking took his own life, dude. Straight up took his own life. So now people in the gooning community are sticking up for their fallen comrade, and they're out in front of the place, the coffee restaurant.
We say they circle jerked.
Oh, dude, look, this is what they did for their memorial.
When I say his name, you say Nautica. Say his name. Nautica. Nautica. Nautica.
Good. Do you have a water cup?
You do have to purchase something.
I can't get a water cup.
We don't allow filming. Were you here last night?
No. What's that?
Yeah. Go ahead and turn off.
I can't goon. I can't goon. You killed that man. 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 You killed that man.
Right.
Killed that man.
Oh, shout out to
This is
the
your
fallen,
ISA. This is your
shout out
ISA.
to the fallen goon soldiers. Dude,
I got a secondary ice up here, and that is people taking advantage of this to make videos,
Content that they're just posting to try to make money.
Yeah, because that is, I mean, it's silly. All this is just silly. I don't know. Is that they're opportunists? They're cumatunas.
Do you mean the people that posted the video of him?
Yeah, that guy was a cumatunas.
Dude, I'm not gonna show the video of him, but the girl rolls up on him and he opens the window and looks and sees that she has the phone and freaks out and drives off. Dude, it went stupid viral on the internet, dude.
Yuck. All right. This is not an ice up. I got CK, you got one?
Keep it going. I'm enjoying this.
All right. This one is not an ice up. This is where we celebrate. This is where we use ice up to celebrate some badass mugs. Look, you looked at some goonin mugs, some basic ass mugs. Can you see that?
We can.
Yeah. All right. This is the baddest. This is the baddest bitch I ever met right here. Watch this shit.
And cheers.
Oh my gosh.
Hell yeah, go Granny.
It all.
Bro.
Hell yeah, dog. That bitch is hardcore. I want to party with her.
God, dude, that girl hit the dab.
Unreal.
She hit some sort of crazy weed liquor, probably. It was like green liquor. I don't even know what that meant. I don't know what half of that mess was. That girl throws down. That granny be annihilating mugs. And if you seen Grandma's Boy, she made Charlie Chaplin sing, or whoever that guy was. In the silent
is a goon into it.
All right. That's what I got. That's an ice. You know what? That's an ice up to myself, who could not even get through the first part of that step without coughing.
Dude. Okay, so again, I don't know necessarily who I'm icing up. I'm just icing up life in general. So this rapper, she's a 489-pound rapper.
Oh, nice.
And
Big baby. What we call her? Big baby.
Dude, Job of the Hip Hop. I don't know.
Job of the Hip Hop.
So she ordered an Uber, and dude, listen to what the Uber driver told her, man. So she's calling the Uber, and then he has this to tell her. So that's her.
What?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What? For what? What you saying?
Yeah, I got no space in my car is small.
I can fit in this car.
But believe me, you can.
Yes, I can.
I believe in you can.
So, I'm sorry.
What I'm gonna do about my money?
I'm gonna cancel you. You're not gonna be charged.
So you telling me I can't get in a lift because I can't fit in your car?
Yeah, you need to order a bigger car.
What makes you think I can't fit in a car?
Yeah,
it's not rated for
what
that.
Makes you think I can't fit in this car? My best friend has a Benz that's newer than this that I can fit in. That's the same size.
Who's wrong here?
So you really telling me? I'm too.
He says one more thing, listen.
To get in your car, so I gotta order another lift.
XL, baby.
To be more specific with you, I got very tired tires.
What I got to do with your tires?
Yeah, and you have no space.
How you know I don't have no space?
My tires wasn't supported.
How do you know I don't have no space?
He might not be wrong.
Because I tried before.
Huh?
Because I've been in this situation.
So every big person you turn down because they can't fit in your car?
You as a big person, you are extra big.
So by the way, she's suing now. These are her lawyers. And they're like they're all in on it.
Well, they have to prove that she could actually fit in it.
I would love for them to go to court and the dude like literally bring in his car
and be like, get in.
Go ahead,
get in.
Go ahead and
get
sit down
out.
and see what happens to the shocks and tell me how that goes.
Or what about this,
Yeah,
TK? Is what if she gets in and she can't get out and she sues him for not being able to get out?
Yeah.
He's a kidnapper.
She's going to be taking up so much space in the back. He's not going to be able to see through his rear view window.
It's a safety hazard, dude. She can't put a seatbelt on.
Can't put it. Yeah, that one right there would be their winning thing right there. But the second thing is, it's his own personal car. You know what I mean? Like
Brad said, to be fair, you want her on icy roads.
So,
we don't need
four-wheeler.
Kevin's saying she already won a couple millions of dollars.
No way she won.
No way. Bullshit.
That's what they're saying, yeah.
Yeah, this is California and Lyft and everything. They're just, afraid to have it be a political storm. If it was a few years ago, it was in the height of everything.
I don't care.
You want her on
We're not wrong, Easy. Great, we're not wrong. We're actually right. We're wrong for feeling wrong.
Dude,
she already
those world that we live in, man.
There's no way those lasted more than 5 dinners for her.
He said, honestly, I just got new tires and they're not going to be. He said his tires wouldn't be able to handle it. Damn. All right, well, that's it for me. Those are my only two.
Okay, you got one for us?
Man, I'm good. I'm ready to just enjoy the evening, boys.
All right, perfect. You got these beautiful kids you got to take care of. I know you're working hard. You're listening to the C3 Panthers Podcast, brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night we chop up the latest Panthers news from the fan perspective. I do it with my homeboys, Cody Lack, CK, but more importantly, all the people that call, all the people that listen, all the people that are part of the Legion. We appreciate you. Cody Lack will be back here Friday, Tuesday. Let's go, bro. Take us out of here.
C3 Nation, until next time, keep pounding.